Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the NAISCC Cup Series. It's round number 4, season number 3 for these drivers here at Sonoma for the Sonoma 110. Exciting racing here tonight. But before we get to the racing action, big thanks to all of our major sponsors. For the Simbox store, you really push our buttons. You want to get yourself the maximum for your rig, for racing, or anything else you need, the Simbox store has you. They have quality handcrafted button boxes featured with 32 function buttons that you can put in and great inputs that you can put in function in anything that you need. For more information, go to the Simbox store on Facebook and also on their eBay store. Don't please go check them out and remind them that Freaky Fast brought you. That's Freaky Fast with 2 E's. Remember, the Simbox store, you really push our button. Also, big thanks to ButtKicker. ButtKicker, if you want to enhance the way that you hear sound, why not feel sound? With ButtKicker, they've got the Gamer 2. It's a way to attach a moving object that really makes you so you're feeling the sound instead of just hearing it. The Gamer 2 attaches to your rig, and it's a great way to enhance your gaming and anything that you're listening to function. If you go to the ButtKicker website and use the promo code FreakyFast20, that's Freaky with 2 E's, and use that on the promo code and get 20% off. Remember, that's FreakyFast20 on their promo code 2 E's. Thank you for ButtKicker. Feel what you've been missing. Here today, we're at Sonoma Raceway for 55 laps here at the 12 corner course, a little over 2.5 miles. And we've got an exciting one here today. Qualifying about to be underway in less than 40 seconds. So there's a couple of things for us to get, clarified. Last week at Auto Club, it was a wild race with a couple of complications. Some of our top racers actually got dinged with point penalties due to some really not favoritive language that was being used. So for Zach Hall and Brandon Colley, they were actually dinged 20 points from last week's points that they were going to be earning. For Colley, he didn't earn any points. And for Zach Hall, he went from earning 29 to only 9 points last week. So both those drivers are going to have to focus up if they're going to be wanting to put themselves in a better shot to make the playoffs later on in the season. Here for tonight, there's a lot of drivers to watch out for. I think for a lot of these guys, it's stay consistent, stay on track. As road course racing, it is hard and it is difficult. As qualifying about to get underway, exciting action. My name is Sam Dyer. Robert Moyer is going to be joining me in the booth here momentarily, as Lee Tidwell had a little bit of internet issues, but he'll be coming in here shortly. But Robert, qualifying's getting underway. We've got some favorites here that we're expecting to be on top of the board.
Yes, we do. We got some favorites here that I do believe that's going to be on top of the board. One of them are going to be from the Category 5 Esports team, Zach Hall, in that number 32 Chevy. I think he's somebody to look out for. I think also we have Tom, last week's sponsor at California, had a great run there, and had a little ups and downs, but ran pretty decent at Auto Club in that number 8 Chevy. So right now, I think them two. And then if you go down the list a little bit there, Sam, I do believe we got Brandon Colley. It's somebody that practiced a lot this week, trying to get better, trying to understand road courses. And during practice, he was like P2, P3. So he really showed his speed out there in that number 42 Ford machine with esports category. But overall, this is the first race here with NAISCC Cup Series that here we broadcasted here with Freaky Fast. So as other drivers, Sam, I really don't know who the favorite is. Like out of the group, I don't know. Maybe we're going to see an upset. Somebody come out of somewhere and get a victory. Could be their first time getting a victory at a road course.
Yeah, I know that some of the drivers that we were given out to really look at, Ryan Bird in the 49, he's going to be someone for us to watch out for, aiming to continue on getting top 5s, top 10s for himself, as all the drivers are almost done with their warm-up lap, about to start their first lap here. Now they're going to have 2 attempts here to put down their fastest lap. They've got 10 minutes to do so, going to give us a lot more time to talk about these drivers. But for a lot of them, it's stay on the course. Even during qualifying, if you find yourself going off course into the dirt, that invalidates your time. It's not going to count. And you're going to be wanting the best qualifying that you can get here early, because if you're starting in the back, you're going to have to deal with all the drivers, with all the traffic you're going to have to drive by, and also a lot of the mistakes we might be seeing in the first about 3 to 4 laps, where drivers are still going to be on the cold tires. Everyone's going to be sliding off here or there, as we're on board with Jesse Thordick. Thordick coming down into these corners and coming on the entry of where the carousel starts. This is where, the newer part of Sonoma is, where the drivers really, it's been added in the last couple of years, but still kind of fresh and new for some. And this is the carousel itself. This is one of the more complicated parts of the course, as the drivers really have to get on to second gear as at the perfect time on top of the hill. And if they get on too early, shifting down, they find themselves spinning. When they switch too soon, they'll find themselves drifting off into the dirt. And it's coming through turn number 7. Thordick's doing a great job. This is 7A and B for these corners, and then the S's where you're really heavy on the speed, and where drivers, if they get on the throttle too soon or onto the rumble strips a little bit too hard, find themselves sliding through 8 and 8B. And then coming around here of turn number 10, coming towards turn number that's 9 and then 10 here across the boards, and heading towards corner number 11, where this is where going to be your best passing zone for a lot of these drivers. Heavy braking zone, and also a lot of space. Some drivers might try to swing wide, try to swing low, but Thordick hard on the gas, and that's the mistakes that we could be seeing a lot here tonight, of just getting on the throttle a little bit too soon and costing the time. Jesse Thordick's first time is going to be thrown away. He's going to hope to have a better shot this second time around.
That is correct. That is your one lap around here at Sonoma, one of the home tracks of Sam out here. He said he lives just a little bit from this place, drive by it every day, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, I mean, what you're saying there, Sam, is that these guys have got to let these tires warm up first before you can really do anything. And you're also going to see a lot of drivers, the data that's let everybody know out there that's watching, you're going to see a lot of off tracks, and it's just iRacing itself picking up somebody that went off track, saying hitting the rumble strips and just getting a piece of the grass is going to show that they went off track. It really doesn't matter. I'm just letting, if you start seeing it, just ignore it, because that's road racing for you.
Yeah, especially for a lot of these drivers, it's going to be the primary focus for a lot of us, is seeing who's off track, who's able to stay on track. I mean, even if you start further back and you do have to go through traffic, if you're able to stay on course, you're really able to gain a lot of time. And even for our leaders, it's right now, that's going to be Brian Johnson, top of the board in the 28 machine. And, for Johnson, he has been on a roll since the start of the season, winning our Daytona first race. And he's trying to continue on his ways. Currently, in the top 10 of points, and really just trying to continue on, as he's actually third in points. And just trying to stay consistent as the season rolls along. It's Ryan Bird we're seeing here coming into turn number 11. A lot of these drivers about to get done with their first and second time around the course. For Bird, I mean, he's currently fourth. Trying to do himself a little bit better is Tom Sinchek, top of the board after his first time around.
Exactly. Well, Sam, to go back to what you were saying here, man, if you start in the back, it really doesn't matter, especially here at a road course, any road course, or Sonoma, wherever we're at. It really doesn't matter, because to me personally, there's going to be guys that are going to be making mistakes. It's road course racing. Some are going to, hit the brakes too hard, loop it around. Some are going to go off track. Some are going to go off track and spin. You race your race when you come to a road course, and if you're starting in the back, you will move your way up through. You'll get into the position where you're all by yourself. You don't got to worry about nobody else, like we just see here with Martin there. See how he all of a sudden just went off track, and he has to slow down. So, starting in the back, like I was saying, everybody out there, is I just, I wouldn't worry about it. Just run your race, get the tires warm, and do your thing, and you'll pass guys. You don't have to be aggressive at a road course. Let the road course come to you. You don't go towards the road course, if anybody understands what I tried to say there, because I don't think I even understood what I said.
Yeah, it's a race the track, not the guys around you.
There you go.
Mentality where you're trying to make sure that, you're running your own race, and if someone else is running near you, that's a lot more pressure, where you're kind of hoping that you're racing by yourself, and everyone else around you has their own mistakes, so you can just stay focused on what you're doing. But we know everyone's racers. They want to be racing and trying to win these things. And speaking of winning, this is Cedric Hunter, one back at North Wilkesboro, wondering if he can maybe make it 2 wins this season. Back to that
Quick
of
camera change.
Thordick. He's able to now make it through that corner. But, looking at this field and where they're at right now, Johnson, top of the board currently, Sinchek in second. Brandon Colley, we talked about how he needs to really make up some points. He's way back in points-wise. And some of the other drivers that are pretty far back points-wise that are going to need some great runs for themselves. A driver that looks like aiming to just start in the back and not qualify, that's going to be Gregory Schall, who he's going to be one of those drivers. Zach Hall, favorite currently. We'll see if he can top the board coming across the line. But Zach, he's obviously the favorite one in this race. First lap around, 0.2 faster than his teammate of Johnson there. And Sinchek, he's probably the one driver that is not part of Cat 5 that is trying to do his best to best everyone else.
That is correct, and we talked about it here at the beginning of the post race here. On top, you got Zach Hall, Brian Johnson. Wasn't too sure. I know he's pretty good at road courses. We talked about him. Second, we got Simchek sitting there. Tom in third. We talked about him. Fourth place is going to go to Colley. We talked about him. Nate Morris there. Is that Nate? Sorry, I do. No, Jacob Morris. Sorry, my bad. Jacob, we have a Nate too. I do apologize. But then the 23 there in the top 5. And then you got Bird that everybody said just to watch out for. In 6th, you got Cedric Hunter. In 7th, we got Pittman looking like he's going to sit in P8. And then we got Danny there in P9. So, we just talked about this, Sam, and basically we just ran the running order before qualifying started, and basically who to watch out for.
Yeah, and for a lot of those drivers are going to be really threats to watch out for, and for some of the guys, there's about 7 drivers that have ultimately picked to say, hey, I'm not going to qualify. So they're going to be staying out. That's Dakota Moniz, Schall, Ferraro, as well as Loveland. Tells Tells is going to be a new driver to watch out for. That's Josh Tells that we're going to be watching out. And then James Tremmel, another one of those drivers, and Patrick Hernandez. So those 7 drivers decided not to qualify. It looks like for Ferraro and Loveland, they kind of went off course their first time around and just decided, you know what, we'll just stay in the back and not even try.
That sounds like me. Yeah, I'll start in the back. I'll work my way up through. I'll race the track and not the drivers. So yeah, that's what these guys are probably planning. That's what they're planning on doing here tonight. Here now, a little bit. Also, we also have Vincent Vernon. I mean, yeah, what's his name? Vincent. Yeah, is it Vincent? Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, Vincent in the 15 is not going to be here tonight.
Yeah,
he posted. So we're not. Yeah, he's not going to be here tonight. A little bit about what's going on here as we're going to bring up the qualifying results here for everybody to see, so Sam can run through it. But also, these guys, everybody knows, they do run stage racing here. They do got one stage. That stage is going to be on lap 22. Now, here are the differences, everybody, so you don't get confused. Going across the start-finish line, they will jot down on a note who is won that stage and down through the point systems on the stage racing. There will not be no yellow thrown. The racing will continue, and they'll take care of that after the race. So during that segment of stage winning, there will not be no stage winner image, us talking to the stage winner, nothing like that, because they got it. There's going to be constantly racing. So with that being said, here's your starting lineup here tonight at Sonoma, brought to you by Simbox. All right, take it away, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of already ran down our top 9 already with Zach Hall topping the board. So we'll start all the way down in 10th with that of Marcus Gomillion going to be in 10th place, with that of Nathan Soren, who's going to be in 11. Nathan Soren, one of those drivers that we saw having a lot of hiccups in the first 2 races of the season. He's trying to make a turnaround for that 0-5. Then we got Tyler Degler, who's going to be in 12th, with that of Trevor Ehart in that of 13th. Daniel Keith Jr. as well as Max Forner going to be back in 14th and 15th position, as well as Martin Morales in 24. Martin, I saw during practice on Thursday, was caught up in an early wreck because they do practice times, then a little bit of a practice race Martin's hoping that he is not a part of any type of collisions like he was on Thursday. Then Thomas Walter and then Jesse Thordick going to be 18th. That last of the drivers that put down a time with that of Dakota Moniz, James Loveland, Patrick Hernandez, as well as Josh Tells, as well as Gregory Shaw, Ryan Ferraro, and James Tremel, going to be all the way back in 25th. So 25 drivers we have here today. And this pacing is going to be a long one. I believe it's going to be about 2.5 minutes of pace time that these drivers have. As this course is a long one, it's pretty slow. But these drivers, it is going to be very hectic when we go green because they're going to be side by side trying to go through and up the hill through corners 1, 2, and 3 and 3B. Those corners are so treacherous. That's even before we get to the carousel in the middle of the corner where we're seeing the drivers now entering. This is corner number 5 that they're going by. Only the first 5, turns that we've just seen here under pacing. And those are probably one of the scarier spots that we're going to be seeing these drivers early in this race. The carousel, you're going to see that tire barrier that's right close to our camera. I've seen many drivers get stuck in those spots. That is going to be an issue for these drivers watching for these 55 laps. But, Robert, these drivers, they're now getting really lined up and ready to go here with just a few more corners to go. What are some things that you're expecting these drivers to be doing here today? And what are some points that you're just hoping that they don't do?
Well, the point is not to rear end somebody. Different braking points is my main concern now. Packing 25 cars in, or even if you have 10 cars, everybody brakes different, Sam. So these first couple laps, everybody's got to pay attention of who brakes where. Don't go dive bombing into the corner and running into somebody. Like I said, just take it easy. If everybody takes it easy, gets in line, then run the race and run your course, you'll eventually pass them somewhere along the line of this track. It's a very, very long track. It is awesome. It's road course racing. So that is my expectations here for the next 5 laps. Just get in position there, bud.
Pace car rolls up, but we don't go green just yet. They've got 2 more corners. Corner number 11 that they're going through. This is going to be a great place to make some passing zones. Then coming around turn 12, they're going to release them. Green flag about to be in the air for Zach Hall and Brandon Johnson. Green flag in the air. We are green for the Sonoma 110. And Zach Hall leading us up the hill as everyone else, they're just hoping that they don't jam up into someone else or get knocked off course.
And that's the key coming up here into the turn. You can see everybody sliding out, missing that turn, worrying about rear view mirror driving. As we got Bird there looking underneath Cauley, and he's the first one to go around.
Cauley, who qualified up at the top 4, he is automatically shoved to the back, and that spill takes him all the way back to 25th position. Luckily, no one else was involved in that, but that is just the luck that we've been seeing from the 42 from the start of this season. It continues on here at Sonoma. Cauley's going to have to work his way through all that traffic as everyone else. They've singled themselves out primarily here. There are some drivers that were looking a little bit side by side. But right now, everyone besides that incident with Cauley, that was a pretty clean first couple of corners.
And that's what I'm saying. Now, Cauley is probably frustrated behind the wheel already. But don't get frustrated, Cauley. This is a long race. It's 55 laps, I do believe, right? Correct? We're going 55 here, Sam?
Yeah, 55 laps.
Okay, so you got time. Honestly, you got a pit stop coming up. You got to make a pit stop. You can race your race. You can make up these positions. Now, will he get back into the top 10? I don't know. But you can at least bounce back from 25th position, as right now he's already up to 24th already. So, that's not even within 1 lap. So, guys can't panic here, and just make sure we see as we've got Patrick. Looks like he's going off course here in that 19. Shows that, he's into the tire barrier there, Sam, with the interstate batteries. Toyota.
Yeah, he went off course around turn number 10 into the dirt, and that shoved him into the tire barriers, and that's right around pit entry, but he's not going to go in. Slowly gets himself back straight and moving along. Patrick Hernandez, who did not want that type of wreck to happen, especially this early into the race, as now we're on board with that of Pittman and seeing this group of drivers that are just stuck in line, being led currently by that of Cochran and also Ryan Bird and Cedric Hunter. They're all kind of, Cedric Hunter and Bird, they're starting to pull away from this group, but for Danny Cochran, he's one of those drivers that I'm excited to see how well he's going to do. As Pittman and Morris, Morris going to be making the pass for the 23. He made a little bit of a scuffle on the first lap on turn 3, able to recover for the 23, and now moved himself up to 7th place. These little tiny passes of what we're going to be seeing a lot of here tonight. We'll keep our eyes out on who goes off course, because that's going to be probably the biggest thing about today's race is who's on track and who isn't. If we don't see your or say your name a lot, it probably means you've been having a very clean race and doing what you need to do.
Exactly. As we try to keep, there ain't going to be no yellows like you said there, Sam. So we're going to try to do our best to keep up with all the action going on around this track, because they're spread out completely all over this track. So we'll have to see, see what happens out there. But we do appreciate everybody out there on YouTube tuning in. You know what to do. Don't forget to subscribe and also like this video. We do much appreciate it. The league much appreciates it. And then you also got the share button on YouTube there, Sam. You can share it to your favorite platform. Social media side can be Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, whatever you want. Share it away. Show off your friends, family, or your favorite driver, and show them, hey, come out and watch these guys at Freaky Fast broadcasting every Saturday night.
Yeah, I mean, sharing it is the best way to get the league out there, and the more eyes that are on the league, the better productions and the more money that the drivers can be earning from this. So, it's always a good thing to share and make sure more eyes are on both the league, on us, and primarily on the drivers, as they are putting on a great showing for themselves. As we're looking here at Max Foner, and Foner's another one of those drivers running in 11th place. He's one of those guys that's aiming for just another top 10 finish for himself, aiming to get into the playoffs for the 51 as they're driving around turn 7A and B. A great corner there by the 51, and trying to run down that of Marcus Gomillion in front of him, and also trying to be careful of Trevor Ehart behind him. Trevor Ehart, we've seen in other leagues that we broadcast on a Wednesday for the Underdog Racing League. We've seen Trevor win in that series as those trucks were at COTA about a month or so back. So, we know that the 25 has road course skill, but, the trucks compared to the Cup cars, completely different at times. But expecting to see Ehart have a good run for himself. But, the monsters that these things are, for sure. Updates for some of the drivers in the back. For Patrick Hernandez, he was involved in another incident, and it looks like James Loveland, he'll have the same situation that Patrick Hernandez had off of turn 10. Same thing for the 56.
And it looks like turn 10 is going to be the turn that's hindering people here right now. Looks like they need to figure it out, maybe take it slower, or, whatever they need to do. I don't know. I'm not the race car driver, but just sitting up here, I would imagine that they just need to slow down a little bit. Don't try to be rambunctious and go through the turns here. As you can see, Loveland here is now trying to rebound, and he missed the corner coming up over the hill. Puts him out and throws some sand on the track. Now, here the thing too, Sam, is the more these drivers hit the dirt and throw the sand and dirt onto the track, it stays on the track, ladies and gentlemen. iRacing don't clean it off right away or dissipates like you would think a video game does. No, it literally stays there, and you got drivers that are going to come down through then and wind up going through whatever, is thrown out on the track, which gets on the tires. The tires are heated, and then you're really asking for trouble, because you'll go down into the next turn and go to turn and hit the brakes and turn the wheel, and guess what? The car don't turn. It's just, you got dirt on your wheels.
Yeah, I don't know if Loveland's loving the fact that we continue to watch him, as he's gone off course twice as we've been on course, been watching him, but yeah, I mean, for a lot of these drivers, for turn 10, that is one of the trickier spots, because when you're going downhill, it just flattens off. And it's one of those corners where you're hoping that you can hit it flat out, or at least quarter pedal speed. And sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't. As here's Trevor Ehart under a lot of fire, has brought in some friends with him, as this pack has just grown for the battle for 10th place. That of Marcus Gomillion. Got to be careful, as he's got a lot of hungry drivers behind him. A Foner, Ehart, as well as Degler, going to be following suit, as it's a 4-car train with a slight gap to that of Nathan Sora in 9th.
Yeah, these 4-car train here are battling up over the hill, down the hill, across the turns, over the rumble strips. These guys are looking good. They look like all four are basically running almost the same speed here. So it looks like it's going to be hard to try to pass somebody as you see them come down the long sweeping hill. Down, and this is the trickiest part, I do believe, of the track you were saying earlier, Sam. Getting down, coming around this corner, downhill, and then hitting the flat where the drag strip is, and then you got to go up through the drag strip, as you can see right there, where behind the scene there, where the start-finish line is. This is actually part of the drag strip here at Sonoma, so they actually run up over that a little bit.
Yeah, it's a little part. It's kind of the slow down area where the cool off spot where most of the drivers are when you're going up the hill. As these guys are still battling. I mean, the main thing when you are battling this close to one another is you're noticing how difficult it is to make passes. There's only about 2 or 3 corners that you can make a good pass, and that's going to be through turn 7 where we've already passed, and then also coming down here into turn 11. This is the best spot to make any type of pass. If you can get right on the back bumper of someone, maybe move them out of the way slightly, or get underneath them. But it looks like our first driver into the pits is going to be James Loveland, who heavy damage, actually had to take a tow for the 56. So he's going to be in there for quite a long time, especially if you're taking a tow. That means that's going to be at least 2 to maybe 4 minutes that you're going to be having, time to get up there. Also, he wrecked coming up the hill through turn 2. Major incident for himself. Also, Nathan Sora, he went off course. It looked like having an issue. Nope, that was someone else that I captured that went off course. Some drivers are having a lot of issues up front, as it looks like that of Hunter involved the 13, as well as that of Ryan Bird. They made contact at the top of the hill at 4. And now they've lost over 5-6 positions for Ryan Bird and Cedric Hunter.
Oh, and there goes Ryan Bird. He missed the turn through the grass, slipping and sliding. He's going to fall back again. But yeah, you see Cedric Hunter there in a Hello Kitty car. Does got a little bit of damage there on the right front. I do believe they offer a quick repair at a road course. Can you quote me there, Sam? Okay.
Yeah,
so
they still have one fast repair here.
Okay. So, I mean, Cedric just has got to run his race now here and, get in there for your first pit stop. And we should be good to go then, to get a new car. Now, fuel mileage. I know you asked earlier. What are we looking in between 30 to 33 laps on here?
Yeah, it's actually around 33 to 35 laps these drivers have for fuel for them to work with. The longer distance is for the drivers that are actually running slower. So if you are running up front like Zach Hall and Brian Johnson, they are cruising, and Tom Sinchek, they're still running below a 1 minute 40-second lap time, which is incredible to see. The rest of the field, they're running anywhere from 1 minute and 41 seconds to slower than that. And if you're running slow, it means that you are saving fuel. You can be out there a little bit longer, but this race looking like it's going to be a one-stopper, especially because there is no stage 1 caution. Everyone's looking good. Another driver coming into the pits is going to be Patrick Hernandez, as we're watching Zach Hall. He's trying to pull away from his teammate. And the difference, a little bit more than a half a second. But credit to that of Tom Sinchek, keeping it within a second and a half, a little bit, almost 2 seconds at times. But our top 3, they are keeping it close and just pulling away.
That is correct. These guys are just checked out, 19 seconds ahead of Danny in that number 2. Now the question is when do these guys decide to make a pit stop? As we know, there ain't going to be no yellows, no stage yellows. We're looking around 30 to 35 laps. I wouldn't go no more than 30 laps, Sam. I would just split the race in half. 30 and 30, 60. No, you can't do that because we're going... Wait, no, yeah, you can. 55 laps. So you could even go out farther. I would pit on lap 30 is where I would imagine that these top front runners are going to do. Probably lap 30, I would imagine. And some could get away with maybe pitting on lap 27. 28, and still have enough of fuel just to finish the race, like you said, because you got the guys in the back that are not running these 1 minute and 39 second laps. They're all in the 141s, 142s, 144s, 151s, so they're saving fuel now because they're not running as fast as, like you said there. So what are you thinking there on fuel mileage? You go about lap 30 there, Sam?
I mean, tires are going to be really important for this track. I mean, they've already, for our leaders, dropped off by a full second, and they're the ones that are going to be the most consistent on how their tires going to be reacting. The rest of the field, they might think about pitting a little bit sooner, but that's the fun thing about road course racing is figuring out when you're going to undercut someone and maybe stretch it a little bit farther than those that pit in front of you. Just because there is the strategy of fresher tires, but it is so difficult to pass someone that sometimes hitting a little bit earlier, getting the fresher tires and gaining some time, especially for our leaders with how close they are, that might be the thing that could win you the race if you're able to make that type of a pass. But for Sinjak, you're starting to see it. He's losing ground ever so slightly here. And also for the 28, that looks like he's still keeping it close to Zach Hall. He's starting to drop back just slightly as well. Looking at some of the other battles that are going on track, the battle, we got a major line of drivers from 6th place, that of Pittman and Hunter. They're all in line, and then also behind them, Foner, Gomillion, those drivers that we've been seeing and documented that it was a 4-car grouping. They're still grouped up and making their passes, but Pittman doing a great job running in 6th place, doing exactly what he needs to do. Just keep running his lines, stay smooth. And for Cedric Hunter, it's get back up into that battle for 4th place. He was really a strong contender until he got contact with Ryan Bird. Bird still dropping down to 12th place with a heavy contact, but we're seeing it here. Hunter trying to defend himself and make this rebound. And speaking of rebounds, Brandon Colley, he's in 13th currently. He's made a great comeback from 25th up to 13th. This 42 machine has done a great job, fabulous job, about to catch up to Ryan Bird, who we stated has heavy damage on the rear end, and these cars are already low on downforce, and it's a struggle to get them turning around the corner when you don't have a rear end and it messes up your back spoiler. It is it's terrible to even try to drive around here.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, everybody's seen last week the new next gen cars coming out for NASCAR. iRacing now has them. So you have low downforce, like you're just explaining about how these setups work and these cars work at road courses and stuff like that, Sam. I heard that the new car really drives great on road courses. I haven't tested it yet, but I plan on testing it and seeing they actually. Oh no, we haven't. I don't like word place.
20th place, that's where Tells is going to be at, and he's stuck in the spot that I have seen so many drivers. This is right at the carousel, and if you shift too late, you come with too much momentum, and it can launch your car and get stuck. He is forced and going to have to take a tow, but Tells right now, he is revving the engine, trying to get himself backed up, but he is stuck, and now it's going to take that tow to pit road.
So you can't get out once you get stuck in there. You can't get out, Sam?
I mean, I've seen some drivers get stuck, get out of there, but if you get a little bit too deep into that crevice like we saw there for that 85 machine, you just can't get out. Even if you put it in full reverse, you're most likely going to blow up your engine before you have a chance to get out of there. But right there, Tells could be our 3rd driver with a DNF, as Loveland and that of Hernandez, two of the drivers we talked about with heavy damage being caught up in wrecks, they've already parked it for the day.
All right. Well, there's your little bit of an update, as now we're looking back here at the battle of 14th position here with Thomas. Back here as the 66 goes dirt tracking there, and he's got to get that thing back on. and that's the way. Oh, he's still not on. Now he's on.
Oh, Gregory Shaw.
he went dirt racing, man.
It's not the first time. He's done this at least once or twice already today, where the 66 has gone off, but running in 16th place, not terrible. I mean, for Shaw, he was one of those drivers that did not even qualify, started in 23rd position up to 16th. I mean, he's gained positions throughout driving through traffic, even with some of his dirt track racing, and heavily pressured right now by Martin Morales.
Now, the question is that you said tires are key here. We're 11 laps into this race. Are these tires basically slipping and sliding now as we're seeing these guys? Is there no more grip with the tires that fast already 11 laps into it?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things of, especially on the hard braking zones when you need to get back up into speed, um, you are already starting to feel a slippage and your tires slipping when you're trying to get off the corners. I mean, we saw that with Jesse Thordick during qualifying, coming
Hmm.
off of turn number 11, sliding those tires and drifting off course, and it's just going to build up and get worse and worse. As now we're watching the battling for 13th place as Thomas Walters has really made a great charge getting past Collie. And Collie, one of those drivers that went off, his tires are going to be really toasted because he's been running extremely fast times. Also looks like he might have gone off course
Yep.
during that last lap. So, the tires are just going to be slippier and slippier the more you try to get back onto
Oh,
the throttle as Walters goes off course, dirt tracking it a little bit, side by side, coming through turn number 4. 57 going to be losing a little bit of time, which is now going to be bringing in Nathan Soren, also that of Shaw and Morales into the mix for 13th place. But, with all these drivers, it's just going to get worse and worse until you come to the pits. And I think that's why you might be seeing some drivers try to stretch this first stint as far as you can so you don't have to worry about, saving your tires on that second half of the race.
all right. 12 laps into it, we still got our top runners up here. Jacob Morris is up to fourth in that Dr. Pepper's. It looks like he's running up fourth, one position here. Danny's running 4 positions up, running in 5th place. We had a little bit of an up and down here for Cedric Hunter, and you can see now he has finally moved himself right here back up to 6th. Hounding Danny there for 5th position, seeing if he can work his way at least back into the top 5 before we have a pit stop there, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, 4th place is also in a grasp for that of Hunter if he's able to catch up to Morris. And it looks like, Cochran and Hunter are moving together. And it looks like the gains are working as that of Morris going to be going off track just slightly there, coming up to corner 2 as they're going through 3A and B. They're making their charge forward, but Morris just looks like he's just going into these corners a little bit too hot. So he has to back off his speed so he doesn't go off course. And it's been hurting the 23 the most, but somehow still in 4th place.
That is true. Well, you know what? Let's talk about real life real quick, Sam. So, I want to ask you and the audience out there that's watching, coming up next week for NASCAR, I forget what track they're at, so I do apologize. But my thing about it is, are you excited to actually see fans, like fans in the stands finally at a NASCAR event?
Yeah, I mean, full capacity
Yep.
fans is going to be exciting to see. I mean, it is a finally get. I mean, the most famous words were always, I mean, when you're listening to a broadcast, is all the the fans are standing up for this one because there's a battle going on, someone's taking the lead, and the fans just getting excited and rowdy. And now we get to hear for celebrations, them screaming out or booing at the drivers. I mean, you'll love to hear both interactions of fans voicing their love for someone or even their hate.
That is very true, and I guess I can't wait to see it next week where they can actually, it's been a year, as everybody knows, that we're getting back to normal, that we see after the race, they get to go into victory lane, get out of the car, celebrate, people around, confetti instead of standing in the middle of the track with a boom mic sticking in your face. That is going to be, I just can't. I know it might sound corny and stupid, but I'm excited to see that, man. I really am.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things of like, it's been so weird. I mean, I always go back and rewatch some of the older like highlights of other sports and just hearing the fans' excitements for things and how much it gives you goosebumps of that energy you just cannot make up anywhere else. You just have to be in that atmosphere in the stadium at the race course to feel that energy. And it's good that it's coming back and, a sense of normalcy is coming back into the world.
Amen on that. All right. Well, we got about 17 to 20 people out there liking, watching actually. So we do much appreciate everybody tuning in on YouTube. Hopefully the content's good. Hopefully the stream looks nice and clear and the audio is working out very well for you. But with that being said, we're on lap 14. We still got about another 15 laps to go. So with that being said, we are going to quick run to a commercial break, and we will be right back before pit stops happen here and see how this all shakes and battles out here after this quick word.
ButtKicker Gamer 2. What you see and what you hear is what you feel. ButtKicker. The future is feeling.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the NAISCC Cup Series. This is round number 4 here at the Sonoma 110. Currently, we've been watching the battling going on for 4th place of Danny Cochran and Cedric Hunter. Cedric Hunter, he's been making a comeback, was involved in an incident with that of Ryan Bird about 10 laps ago and has been slowly making his way back. And now about to set up the 2 machine for a pass here. Might be seeing that pass in turn number 11 here shortly. We'll see if he's going to be making a break. And oh boy, they are keeping it close. A little update on how this race has been going. Zach Hall, Brian Johnson, and Tom Sinchek, they have broken away and gapped out. Not even thinking about anyone else out there. And they've got currently a 36, almost a 37-second gap lead over Danny Cochran and Cedric Hunter. Looking like a driver that just went off track was Trevor Ehart, just to give an update on him. But we have had 2 official DNFs of James Loveland and Patrick Hernandez that had too many incidences and just decided, you know what, we're just going to park it for the day. Also, that of Joe Tells, another one of those drivers that had a lot of issues, got caught up in the turn 6 carousel issues where, you know, you can get stuck on the wall and he had to take a tow, but he's back on track. And heavy damage for himself. Trevor Ehart, because of being involved, actually does have to come to the pits. And looking at some of these drivers and where they're at right now, a lot of hard racing as this battle for 2nd place. That was a very scary moment for Cochran as driving back to Shaw, bouncing back and forth. It is really difficult. This is the one thing with road course racing, is there's so much action everywhere that you really can't keep up with it all. Because there's battling up front, battling in the middle, and battling in the back. Just great content everywhere to see, and it looks like that for Cochran. No longer going to be having a chance. He might fall back to the clutches of Morris and Morris. And Morris is he's been having a down race, but still staying consistent in the top 6. Great job for himself, and some other close racing action that we've been seeing here. I mean, Morris right now, he's trying to get by that of Danny Cochran, but just turn 11 looks to be a struggling point for some drivers. as they're able to make some passes there, and other times they're not able to. It's mainly because they're just not close enough. Getting that launch out of turn 10, they need to get a little bit closer. We've been seeing a lot of drivers, we saw that of Loveland and Hernandez and a couple of others go off course because they just could not hit turn number 10 properly, and it took him off course. Looks like Trevor Ehart, after the collision that he had, deciding to park it for himself. Kind of a surprise to see for the 25, as he'll most likely drop down to 23rd to finish out this race.
Well, I don't know what's going on right now, Sam, but Zach Hall is just putting on a clinic, man. He is out there with a 3-second lead over his teammate, still putting down the 1.40s. Brian Johnson 1.40, and then from there on back, everybody else is putting down a 141s, except for Cedric Hunter in the 140s, and then you got 142s and 141s. So right now, Zach Hall, ladies and gentlemen, is 2 seconds faster, 18 laps into this book. I don't know what he's doing. You need to go to the NASCAR hauler. We need to spec that vehicle or something, because he is just, dude, man, he is like crazy right now. Like, he's just pulling away.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, Johnson was right on his back bumper of Hall, and then that was about 5-6 laps ago. And ever since then, it just looked like Johnson kind of burned up his tires while Hall was kind of just letting them cool off. And it's really worked out for the 32 to just pull away, and he has not looked back, and really trying to aim to be the winner of stage 1. Now, stage 1 will be at the conclusion of lap 22, and we will not have a stage caution of a full course caution come out. Instead, we're just going to mark down the 5 drivers that come across the line at the end of lap 22, and those drivers will get points, but we will continue to stay green, as Gregory Shaw going to be coming into the pits, and looks like the 66. I don't think this was a scheduled stop for himself, but he's going to pull in and park it for the day. Shaw is done.
That is, unfortunately, he's going to park it. I got to give props. Some guys just don't, road racing is not their thing. You got people that know how to race road courses, Sam. You got some people that know how to race just oval 1.5 mile tracks, short tracks, things like that. Everybody out there's got their little niche. You can see the niche of the guys that know how to run road courses, the guys that tried to run road courses and said, okay, it's just not my thing. I gave it a shot. Here's what I got, and I'm going to end it. It's the same as trying to take, some can run road courses compared to dirt. Some people can't run dirt, and then you got other guys out there that just dominate in dirt, and the 305s and the 410s, and things like that on the dirt side of things. So this is what we're seeing, ladies and gentlemen. We are seeing the good guys. Well, I sound like good and bad guys. You got your good guys here, and you got your bad guys here. Anyways, no. But you got your road course ringers, and then you got your non-road course ringers. And then you got your mediocre guys in the middle, like Morris just is out there trying to survive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing for Morris is to realize, hey, I've gone off course a couple of times. I might have lost a lot of time because I'm trying to slow up and not get into the wall. And that's the difference between a driver that's recognizing, hey, my skill level, compared to someone that's trying to drive over what their skill is and over driving and throwing their cars into the tire barriers, instead of recognizing, hey, I'm going to be slow. I'm going to back off. As we're seeing here of that Ryan Bird getting passed by Colley, and Colley has made quite a comeback. He was up front, qualified in the top 4, got caught up in an incident on top of turn 3, lap 1, dropped him all the way back to 25th place. He has now marched his way up and continuing to march his way forward, now up to 11th for the 42.
Yeah, and this 42 and 49, they've been battling it, I don't want to say extremely hard, but hard. You can see Ryan Bird, he's all over Colley. Colley pulls away in a certain amount of a certain spot in the track, and then Bird closes that gap because he's stronger in this part of the turn. So we got different kind of strategies. So there's different parts of this track that some drivers are really good at, and then just mediocre, and some are just bad, just don't get it. So it's you see this. You can see now, Collie pulling away here, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Ryan Bird pull back up here right on his tail end here very shortly. And I also want to really quick give a shout out to David out there on YouTube. Thank you very much. He says that everything is looks good and sounds good with a thumbs up, so we do much appreciate that.
I always love to hear that we sound good and we look good. I always love those compliments.
Let's go on a date.
As as we're looking on board with this battle still of Collie and Bird, you're seeing that rear end damage. That was actually from when Bird made contact with Citric Hunter.
Yes.
And both of them lost their ground. So, the 49, it looks like maybe that damage might have been from him going off course. I mean, he slightly went off course, but it was more so of the contact that he made with the 13, which props to Hunter. He's still able to be out there and charging forward. Some other close battles that might be becoming something. The battle for 9th place. Tyler Dangler is being hunted down by that of Pittman, and Pittman is coming in the 21 as they're coming through the carousel.
Coming through the carousel, going down this hill, long sweeping left-hand turn, getting on the drag strip and gas it up, shift up through the gears. And this is where you get hard on the binders. He's going to see if he can try to take him down in the turn. Nope, just doesn't have the position yet there, Sam. He tried, but he had to back out of it.
Yeah, the double apex of turn 7 is a spot where you can make some passes. And now going through the S's between turn 7 and here's turn 8. And then you just wheel it around here and coming across turn 9 here for these drivers. I mean, this is hard racing, and if Pittman can get through here of turn 10 very well, he's going to get close to the rumble strips. You don't want to hit it, just get close. That's the best run he could have gotten, setting up turn number 11.
There it is. That's how you do it right there. Picture perfect. That's how you pass somebody here at Sonoma.
Turn 11, the primary spot to make these passes, and Pittman for the 21. I mean, he started up in 8th place. He's dropped back to 12th at one moment, and now back up to 9th, just trying to make a recovery day compared to some of the other drivers that had started further back and have made a great charge forward. And of those drivers, after that pass for Pittman, in front of them, Gomillion and Foner, both of them have made a great charge for themselves. For Foner, started in 15th, now up to 7th. For Gomillion, started back in 10th, now he's up to 8th. So a couple of those drivers that started outside the top 10 made their way in.
Yeah, he fell back, and now he's up 8 positions, like you said. He's working his way back up through the field there with Max Motorsports on that car. Nice, beautiful-looking paint scheme he's got going on there. And he's got a couple cars right up in front of him of the number 2 there of Danny, trying to see if he maybe can catch up to him. That would put him, up in the 6th position if he could just he's just off a little bit. I don't know where he can make up that ground to catch that number 2, but maybe he could do it in pit stops, maybe?
Pit stops, I think more so. In fact that, Morris in front of him goes off course, and that's gifting a potential position as the 23 gets back in front of the 51, but that's costing time, and that's been the biggest thing that's been hurting both Danny Cochran and Jacob Morris. Is both of them have been making major mistakes the last 2 laps, and that is what's been giving Foner and Gomillion time to catch up to these guys in front of them.
Well, speaking of that, we're on lap 22, Sam.
Yeah. Leave at the end of this. I mean, this is huge, especially for Danny Cochran after making that pass to move up to 5th place. All 4 of these drivers, I believe it's whoever crosses the line here, of those 4 of the drivers that are here, Danny Cochran would get the final, 5th place position points. So for everyone else, they've really got to be making sure that they are ready to pounce, and just in case the 2 makes a mistake coming down the hill.
Yeah, well, you only got a couple more turns here, and it's going to be the end of lap 22, which is going to be the stage. So he's trying to hold on to that 5th position as we got everybody else out there right behind him trying to pounce on him. But looks like he's got a pretty decent gap from what it looks like. I think he should be okay.
Yeah, you should be, but here coming through turn 7 and now going through the S's, this is a place on track where one mistake, it hit the rumble strips wrong, it could send you off course and could cost you positions here So everyone's got to be careful. Remember, there will be no full course yellow, but the stage points still count for those that come across the line. And Zach Hall does come across, so, you know, we will wait and see, but for sure, Zach Hall is going to get the most points here at the stage break. 5 points for him. Johnson going to get 4. That is Cindric's going to get 3. 2 goes to Hunter. And coming out of turn 11, heading towards turn 12, it's going to be Danny Cochran able to hold on and hold off that of Norris behind him, and we'll get our final stage points to the 2.
There we go. That will be your top 5 for the stage here with NAISCC Cup Series here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting every Saturday night at 8:50. So make sure you subscribe and like this video so you don't miss. Whoa! Did he ever dive in? Wow, Jacob Morris almost just ran him over there, Sam.
Yeah, this is when it's scary. You talked about it, you know, right before we went green, is those different braking zones, and something to watch out for, especially the later on the run goes on. The more the tires feel different on those braking zones that you were feeling comfortable with earlier on, where you could really dive deep into the corners, you have to brake a little bit sooner so your tires will actually slow down. Gotta be careful, especially with Morris. That looked like he was getting very aggressive, might get aggressive here on the entry of turn 3. If there's enough space, the 23 will send it.
And he's setting them up. He's getting on the inside, and he's going to see if he can do the crossover move going through the S's, which is not recommended. And it looks like that number 2 of Danny is going to hold him off going through the S's here to go down to the start-finish line. And we'll see what he can do. Oh, we have a car sitting off-road.
That's Jesse Thordick off course for the 14. Last car running out here, and he's currently 2 laps down. Jesse Thordick's just been having a terrible day, and still terrible after being passed.
Come back here to James, the owner of Simbox Store. If you want to give a shout out to them fine sponsors there, Sam, one more time here as we're getting ready for pit stops. We're on lap 24, about ready to start lap 25 of 55 here. So we should be seeing pit stops within the next 5 to 7 laps, I would imagine.
Yeah, no, it's about to get very, very busy here as Ryan Burke going to be one of the first drivers into pit road. But yeah, for Simbox Store, a major help to the league. And if you want more information on Simbox Store, go to their Facebook page at Simbox Store, or even go to their eBay store. They've got sim boxes there for you that have 32 functions that will give you immediate inputs on how to change your black box on iRacing or any other commands that you have. Simbox Store. Feel what you, you really push our buttons. That's the saying for ButtKicker, that feel your
That's right. Feel your buttons as you're pushing them.
Feel them. They're good.
Feel them, baby.
They really work.
Man.
Well, for Bird, he puts himself right in the window where he will be good to make it for the 49. And also, he's going to be using his fast repair. So now he's got a fully repaired car. And now the question of, you got about 31 laps for the 49, where you're hoping you don't get any major engine damage. And then also you can stay clean, as there will not be, most likely, a yellow that comes out.
Yeah, I don't see no yellow here. They don't even have it set up on the server unless something major happens, which I don't see that happening. And we're pretty well spread out through the whole field here, Sam. So we'll come back here and check out that number 12 of Ryan. He's looking pretty good out there, staying clean, running his race, finishing where he's going to finish, pack up the car and say, you know, I did what I needed to do.
Yeah, Ryan Ferraro in the 12, one of those drivers that did not qualify. Actually started back in 24th position, second to last driver. He's looking to be poised to finish in about 16th position, hoping to maybe get, a top 15 finish for the 12. But for Ferraro, this is just a try to get as many points as possible type of a day. As for Brandon Colley, he's up to 10th. What a great recovery, finally getting into the top 10. As Foner comes into the pits for the 51 and is actually getting out of the pits as we talk about that.
Yeah, very, very good. As he's guys are starting to go a lap down on the pace that the top three are just pulled away with the 44-second lead over there, Cedric Hunter. But these guys back here for 8th, 9th, and 10th been battling it all race long. So I got a funny feeling this is where we need to pay attention and watch what's going on. But like you said, great rebound from a lot of these drivers here, including Brandon Colley here. He really bounced back considering what happened on lap number 1. Bravos, and I told you, race to race, not the cars, and you'll rebound back.
Yeah, and right now, that of Colley's got to be watching out. That's Pittman in front of him, trying to make that pass quickly. And as we were talking about that battle that was going on, Ryan Johnson, you touched on the fact that some drivers might just want to split this race in half. And it looks like for the 28, that's exactly what he's going to be doing, trying to get a slight advantage early in undercutting pit stops. As now into the pits, it's going to be Pittman.
Yeah, well, what Johnson's doing there, he was learning up there with the top three. He was about 4 seconds behind when he made that pit stop there from his teammate Zach Hall. So, like you said, Sam, he's doing the undercut. Let's see how much time he gains on Zach Hall, if any, within that 4-second range. We'll have to see, because he had a pit stop down pit lane road, and the pit stop, all including in the one and exiting, a 50.87 with a pit stop of a 14.57. So we'll have to see what Tom does and Zach does when they decide they're going to make their pit stop, and when everything starts shuffling around again to where we are right now. And we'll see what that distance is, or if he gains something, or he might come out in front of them. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if Zach Hall stays out for another possibly, 4 to 5 laps until his fuel is practically out, then we're going to be seeing Johnson in the lead, as the lap times that our leader is putting down for Zach Hall is 1 minute 41 seconds, and what he was running with his best lap time was a 1 minute and 38 second lap time. So, that is a major 3-second difference that we're seeing from these drivers, and that's just on the consistent runs, as well as the tire just dropping off for these tires,
right,
for this driver.
Correct. So if we all sit here and try to figure this out and start thinking in our head, 3-second difference on fresh tires compared to old tires. Brian Johnson did not go a lap down. He is still on the lead lap, 36 seconds behind. So I am shocked that Zach Hall has not made that pit stop yet with his teammate, because they're in the same team channel, and I'm sure they're communicating on what these cars are doing. And I would be imagining that we're probably going to see Zach Hall come in this time by. I think he should. I think this is the money. Yep, here it comes.
Yeah, window has opened for a lot of these drivers and coming in. Zach Hall coming in, and in front of Zach Hall, his other teammate of Brandon Colley, he's come in, as well as Danny Cochran. They came in as well before our leader did. So they're hoping to not go a lap down, as Cochran and Colley going to be getting out of their pits as quick as possible. But for Zach Hall, he's got to make sure that he comes in cleanly. Don't slide your tires or slide into your box and overpass it, as Tom Sinchek going to be staying out for an extra lap for the 8, trying to get a lap lead. Here comes Hall into his pit stall, and he came in perfectly. Didn't overcorrect and slide past. Great pit stop for the 32. And now the question is, where's the 28? Well, he's coming past turn 12, and he's going to be making the pass past Zach Hall. So that undercut worked out to gain the position possibly here, and he will, as Hall's going to get a little squirrely and lose time. Johnson, he might be our leader once we see Tom Sinchek come to the lead. Come to the pit road.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm looking at stats here, ladies and gentlemen, and this is very interesting stats that we got here. This last with these two, Brian Johnson and Zach Hall. We know Zach Hall's got a faster car, so I would imagine he's going to be able to catch Johnson. He's about 3 seconds behind him, so he should be able to catch him. But here the thing is that Zach Hall going down pit road and pit stop and exiting all complete had a 52.87 to Brian Johnson's 50.87, with a pit stop of a 14.98 to Johnson's 14.57. So Brian Johnson got on pit road, exited pit road faster than Zach Hall, which you see now put Brian Johnson in front of Zach Hall, plus Zach Hall staying out for an extra 2 laps with the difference on tire wear. So it's very interesting, Sam, very interesting.
Yeah, it's extremely interesting. As you saw there, Johnson kind of terrified of how Soren was going to get away from him. And as you were talking about all those stats, more drivers coming to the pits. Martin Morales coming in, but Brandon Cawley, after servicing a pit road, I think he might have used his fast repair because he did have slight damage before. He has wrecked this thing, and he's running around with no hood.
Oh, Cawley, he's overdriving the vehicle, unfortunately. We'll go back and look at him here, like you said. And, yeah, he has no hood on there, unfortunately. Oh, I'm sure he's frustrated, man.
Oh, boy, a driver that was frustrated on pit road, Nathan Soren. He was trying not to hit Martin Morales and accidentally threw the 0.5 into his pit wall before coming in. So 0.5, heavy damage for himself. So he'll be in pit road a little bit longer than what he was planning for.
Yeah. Well, he had a fast repair, so it shouldn't. Yeah, it is timed actually. Well, hitting the wall won't help, like you said. We got Jacob Morris now in the 23. He's in making his final pit stop here of tonight's race. And Tom still has not pitted yet.
Yeah, he's going with the complete opposite route of what our other drivers were doing of Johnson and Hall, because those are the two that he is racing right now. And I think his goal is to stay out there as long as possible. So he's got the freshest tires to run down both the 28 and the 32 and easily make a pass. But it is he's also hoping that he doesn't make too many mistakes in losing time.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work out for him, to be honest with you, Sam. New tires, yeah, are faster, about 3 seconds faster, but you know, he was 9 to 10 seconds behind Zach Hall and Brian Johnson when they made their pit stop. So fresh tires plus 3 seconds don't equal 9 seconds. You know what I mean? So I don't see the benefit of staying out here except for just leading some laps. I mean, putting it in the stats. What you do, you got some stats here later on that you can talk about, but maybe he just wants it for the stat records that he led some laps at Sonoma.
Possibly. Dakota Moniz, he went off at the carousel, and he hits the tire barrier exactly there. That's the 5. And that was a hard lick into the tire barriers, but he's still going to be able to get going. Luckily, he didn't get stuck in the crevice, but he did nose it right into the tire barrier wall, and it's a hard contact for the 5, who was running up, and I believe in the top 10 before that incident happened, and he still needs to make his pit stop, so losing even more time than what he was before.
Zach Hall just put down the fastest lap of the race, a 137.71. A 137. He's the only driver tonight to hit a 137 mark.
In some ways that's amazing, and in other ways that could backfire. He's gaining on Johnson very quickly with these fresh tires, but I think the biggest thing is if you're putting down fast lap times currently, you still have a lot of racing to go, and we're not looking to pit any more time. So you could be wearing those tires down even faster than what he was doing in that first stint. So it could backfire for the 32, but I mean, his teammate's right there. That's the driver he is aiming for. There's Brian Johnson that he's trying to get by, but this is going to be an interesting call to see, especially in those final 10 laps.
Yeah, and that's the thing you were saying there. You know, Zach Hall got out and was about a 4-second, just pulling away, running his pace. He had no one around him, Sam, you know, to worry about anything. So he set his pace, knew what he needed to do with the tires, didn't have no competition, basically, honestly. And now he's sitting back here in third position. We'll be in second. And now he's trying to run down his teammate, which, like you noted, he's going to start working on some of them tires, and he's going to burn them tires off maybe a little bit faster than before because he's pushing the car harder than he was before leading the race. So, you know, guys out there, you know, leading a race is so much different than being back in a pack because you can set the pace. You know what you need to do. You know how to drive the corners, and you know what you need to do. You start getting back in the pack here, then you start overdriving that vehicle, which can hurt extremely.
Yeah, and also, got to be worrying about drivers having their issues with lap traffic, as lap traffic
Yep.
is going to be a more and more of a factor. Yes, we're seeing, currently only 10 drivers left on the lead lap, but that's just because Tom Sinchek, and he finally is coming into the pits, with 25 laps to go. That's when we're going to be seeing the 8 finally making his pit stop. So instead of trying to stretch his tires for over 30 some laps, which this would have made that second stint further than his first, he's decided to flip-flop it, make that first stint the longest, so he doesn't have to really worry about those tires for the second half of this race.
The leaders just passed him, and he is now hitting pit road. Look how much he lost. He literally lost half a track by staying out.
Yeah, I mean, this is I think the biggest thing for Sinchak is, okay, you made your bed, now you're
Yellow
gonna sleep in it, and his
flag.
caution's gonna be waving.
For what?
I don't know what they're calling this for,
Wait, what?
but a yellow has been thrown, admin yellow. And the whole entire field is questioning what just happened.
Oh, no.
And the question is, what happened? No answer has been called just yet, but we're waiting for confirmation on what exactly this call is for. But it's looking like this was called. Still no answer. But a lot of drivers are a lot of drivers now are going to be cycling through, and with this yellow coming out, the reason why they didn't want have any yellows come out for this leak is because here at Sonoma, because of how long the track is, it takes forever for everyone to group up, and for our leaders if they pit, and it might be causing them to have a longer cautions, and we might not be able to go green until possibly 15 laps to go, or even longer than that, just because of how long it's going to take for these drivers to get collected up before we can go green again. And man, oh man, all the drivers still, I think a lot of them were hoping this race would continue to go green, because now it's rolling the dice on who's going to survive. This is the same scenario that we saw in the first 5 to 6 laps, where drivers got taken out and had to practically take all race to catch up to where they finally were running before. And now it's kind of roll the dice again here for the final couple of laps. And, these drivers, certainly it's going to take a while for them to get there. So we're going to be getting things set up on our end, as this is going to be one of the craziest things. Our leaders have just caught up to the pace car. And,
Yeah.
oh boy.
All right. Well, you know what? We're going to run to commercial quick. I know we just seen this commercial, but we need time to let this all get cycled through and set up. So we will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in here tonight at Freaky Fast Broadcasting with NAISCC Cup Series on your Saturday night NASCAR adventure. But we will be right back after this quick word.
With the ButtKicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. ButtKicker. The future is feeling.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here. We're still under yellow with 22 laps to go. It looks like we had Zach Hall and Brian Johnson come in and top off their car. And with that late pit stop, that's actually going to put Tom up in the front with the same basically tires here, Sam, and fuel. So here we go. So basically rack them, stack them, and get ready to see what happens.
Yeah, and with this caution coming out, some of the drivers feeling like they are not going to be able to get unlapped, so deciding just to park it. Ryan Ferraro going to be one of those drivers that has just decided to park it. Also, Jesse Thordick, while we were green, also decided to park it for himself. So a lot of these drivers, they're still trying to catch up to the pace car. I mean, we've only got, I think...
Oh, what's going on here?
I mean, we still have, I think, only the top... 3 are still up there with the pace car. We're still waiting for 4th place on back to really catch up. We have some lap cars that are there.
Okay.
But yeah, we're still, it's going to take a while still, because this is the one thing that the drivers and admins were hoping would not happen if a caution would come out, is it's going to take us about, 5 to 6, maybe 7 laps to really fully get grouped up, because it takes so long for everyone to catch back up after doing service and running back with everyone. So still kind of a sit and wait for these drivers. Those that did pit, though, like I said, Johnson, Hall, they're going to be making themselves up front, and they're going to be something to watch out for. But Sinchak, because the fact that Hall and Johnson came out before the 8 car even could catch up to them, they're going to be staying in front of Sinchak, and Sinchak's going to be back in 3rd.
Okay. Well, as we wait.
We just keep on waiting and waiting.
Playing the waiting game. So anyways, how's everybody doing out there? We got some people out there watching on YouTube. Don't forget, you can hit us up on chat, talk about interacting, talk about the race, talk about your favorite driver, talk about the broadcast, talk about NASCAR. I don't care if we talk about your cat that's sitting at home watching the race. Hopefully the cat's watching the race, but...
Well, something we could talk about here, Robert, is the fact that Freaky Fast is going to have a pretty long break coming up. So I don't believe we're going to be back for next week's All-Star race.
Nope.
So we're going to be missing that. We'll be back for the week after that. I believe that is actually going to be at Pocono for those drivers. So Pocono, points racing. So when we come back for that type of racing, should be a fun one.
Yep, that's
actually,
correct. What? No, what?
No. I was rereading the schedule, and the numbers were wrong for some of the stuff, but we should be back for Pocono.
Pocono, okay. All right, yes, just to let everybody know out there that goes back and watches this in the future, yes, our last broadcast will actually be coming up this Tuesday with RSR Evolution Racing League. We will be doing their doubleheader like we normally do on Tuesday. We also got one on Monday. We also got a doubleheader tomorrow morning with Bonfire, and then we're back with Sim Racing Unleashed tomorrow night on a Sunday night racing with their Season 10 opener at Daytona with the new cars. So make sure you tune in if you want to see the action-packed racing with the new vehicles. Make sure you tune in, share it with your friends and family, let them know. Come on over and check it out, because they are running the next-gen cars at Daytona for Season 10. So that's going to be interesting, Sam, to watch and see how those cars actually handle in a league pack of racing. But anyways, then we have our Monday night where we got our doubleheader Tuesday, like I said. And then normally we have Wednesday Underdog, but we will be off starting Wednesday till Sunday. We will be off, so we will be back on the 24th with Below the Yellow Line Racing League. So we'll be back with them.
Yeah, so a lot of exciting racing action, and I know we're going to be missing out on a lot of great action here on Freaky Fast. I mean, it's always fun to check out and see what's going on throughout the week, but sometimes vacations are needed.
I was just ready to say, I'm going to the beach, man. My sister's getting married. Can I have a break, please?
I thought this was a vacation working on Freaky Fast.
If anybody ever knew what goes on behind the scenes, Sam knows some of it. It's a lot of work, ladies and gentlemen. It's just not sitting behind a computer and putting images up and showing things. We do our study here at Freaky Fast. Sam, Zach, all our colleagues that help here at Freaky Fast They do, including you, like I said, do the research here. You will find some good broadcasting out there. Not saying that there ain't, but we definitely go into depth on stats and statuses and keep everybody informed what's going on, and we try to give the best, oh my goodness, the best, commentating, stats, data, iRacing itself, iRacing.com. Make sure you go check them out. Tell them that Freaky Fast sent you. You can also check out our Facebook page, but we try to give the best content, clear content, high quality, HD, 1080p content for your likings to go back and watch, or just watch live there, Sam. But we are double file, pace cars ducking in, ladies and gentlemen. We are coming down into the last turn here at Sonoma, and we're going to get ready to go green, 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 baby.
Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, Robert's thinking about food just slightly there. Maybe some chicken breast would be nice.
Yeah.
As the Sonoma 110, we are green once again for the NAISCC Cup Series. Round number 4. Who's going to get it done? Zach Hall and Johnson, they're on equal footing with that late caution that came out. And now, who's going to be making up the hill? This is a very dangerous zone. We've seen lots of drivers driving off, being bumped off, and now coming into 3A and 3B. These corners are very tricky, and it could be finding someone getting sent off here as well, as everyone is still trying to get themselves straight. It looks like our front two, they're just pulling away from the rest of the field.
Oh, we have... I don't know who that is.
Gomillion and others. Contact being made. Ryan Bird got pushed off. Max Foner was able to survive and make his way through, bullying some drivers. But Gomillion, he got the worst of it for the 44 when he was running in the top 5.
And we can see right here, Cedric Hunter trying. Oh my goodness, he tried to power that thing out of there on cold tires, Sam, and it didn't work.
No, that is probably one of the more dangerous things to do, especially coming out of the carousel. I mean, especially with these drivers, they can really get onto the throttle and they want to get going, but these cars are kind of like bricks sometimes, where there's not enough downforce. There's a lot of horsepower, and when you get on the throttle, it sends you either left or right, and it's not where you want to go. But here with the 22 and also for the 13, they're battling hard, as this is the battle for 8th place. Cedric Hunter, he makes the pass made, as Dangler going to be following back to 9th place and possibly even more, as that of Brandon Colley. He was involved in a wreck and lost his hood, but still with that late caution, the 42 is in the top 10 and possibly moving up even further.
What a bounce back, I know this yellow was pretty not ready for it, but I'll tell you what, it brought back the action here for the broadcasting. It wasn't so spread out. Now we have cars all over each other as they come up over the hill in turn number 1. They are still battling. You got a 3-way battle going on right here. And then you got a 3-way battle with Cedric Hunter trying to make the move up there at Danny, and it looks like he's going to make the pass. And he's going to set sail here on Ryan Bird. That's going right down into turn number whatever it is. So I do apologize. Sam knows the terms.
Yeah, I mean, I studied them. You talked about I always study. I studied it. Also, I just know this course pretty well.
Well, you live right near it, so I just know it turns left, turns right. We go up a hill and we go down a hill.
Ah, man, road courses, they make us go 2 different ways.
Oh, okay.
As the drivers are making their charge, it's still our front 2, Zach Hall and Brian Johnson, just continuously pulling away, almost over 3 seconds is the gap between 2nd and 3rd place. Tom Sinchak, he's kind of stuck in his own bubble, no one there, and that's when you have to drop all the way back to the battle that we're watching here with Ryan Bird. And also that of Pittman and Hunter, they are all battling here for 4th place. And man, this is a it's completely changed how this race was going, as they're hard breaking into the corner. Bird going to be trying to make a pass here on Pittman, and Pittman able to survive his way through. But gosh, are these guys really putting on a show?
Looks like Pittman's going to get freight trained here.
Pittman doing his best. He's trying to hold off, still side by side with Cedric Hunter, and Cedric's thinking about getting low as they're coming through turn 2, which is a great pass by the 13 over the 21. And Pittman's now going to be dropping back and losing another position. We're starting to see that train once again, 5th all the way back to around 10th. We're seeing this train. He could even bring in the 22 of Dangler.
Ooh.
Dangler had some issues, but you're seeing Hunter. He's getting right on the back bumper of that fresh new bumper that Bird got. And Bird's hoping not to lose it, but these are the two drivers that made contact back on lap 16 that made Bird lose his bumper and Cedric lose a lot of positions. Around a very similar spot to these two drivers that had contact before, as they're still side by side. Bird, he's still trying to hold on, but Hunter on the outside coming up to turn number 7. These drivers have a hard braking zone, and Bird just gives it up and lets the 13 fly.
Now, we're riding with Pittman here as that action was going on with Sam calling it there in the front. But you think this is easy, ladies and gentlemen, sitting behind a computer racing this? Look at Pittman work that wheel, Sam. He is dicing it. Look at that. I mean, literally, he's seesawing that wheel.
Yeah, a lot of the seesaw is through the center of the corners. Also, when you get to the top of these hills is when you're really losing it. You're seeing how much they have to crank it to the right to try to make it through turn 10 because it's such a heavy braking zone. Your car just, the momentum wants to push you off the course. And through 11, very slow corner where you can gain a lot of time or lose it. But Pittman doing the best that he can currently in 9th place, and he still has a lot of drivers to hold off. I mean, he got Colley that got by him. He still has Morris behind that of Pittman, and so these drivers still a lot of hard racing, and it's just hard, especially coming up the hill here through turn 2. You see, right when they get to the crest of a hill, they have to seesaw it because the car just gets so light that they just don't know if they have any feeling, and they kind of lose that force feedback, and it's kind of a, oh, please still be under me moment.
Yeah, I mean, we are on lap number 2. Oh my goodness, this guy is struggling, man. My arms would fall off. Look at this. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And Moore's going to go around the outside, and it's not just Pittman. I mean, you can hop on board with even our leader, Zach Hall. I mean, he's also having a wheeling job that he's got to deal with for himself. I mean, you're seeing him top the crest, has to seesaw it and try to overcorrect just in case the car didn't get over the hill properly. And then coming through turn 10, really not cranking as much as Pittman was. That's because he's really found that sweet spot of where you want to enter and apex these corners. Hard braking zone for Hall is really pulling it, trying to keep close to the rumble strips and hard back onto the gas and trying to get through all the gears that's going through turn 12. And man, these laps, every single time, it's just so difficult for everyone to really hit their marks consistently. But that's what our front two have been doing all race long.
My God.
Oh no, carnage in the middle of the pack. That a Bird, also Cochran looks like involved as they make contact through turn 11.
Oh boy, well last lap there, Zach Hall just put down the fastest lap of now a 137.2, almost down into 136s. That is just astounding.
And Johnson, he's only about a 10th off of what that time, actually less than a 10th. That's only about 400ths that Brian Johnson is off of that best time.
Wow. That
was about a lap or two ago for the 28. That's why they're still within 0.4 of one another, is because their lap times are that even, where it's going to be a tall tale of where they're going to be holding off one another. Another driver going off course, Nathan Soren, goes off. He'll just stay on course. Still no yellow because there shouldn't have been a yellow, but the driver's still racing hard as we're watching. That's Colley, 6th place, trying to get back into 5th. The driver in front of him, that's going to be his teammate, Cedric Hunter, who's about 5.5 seconds back. But looking at some of these other drivers, I mean, Dakota Moniz, that he just went through the carousel. That's a spot that he had a lot of issues before. Got himself going to the tire barriers there. Currently running in 12th position. So they're battling hard here. As Tremmel trying, actually let's go Million, excuse me, and Moniz battling hard against one another. This is for 12th place, last car on the lead lap.
As they're battling hard. Now, I wonder, if we stayed the way we are here with Zach Hall, Johnson, and Tom there in the top 3 for the interviews after tonight's race. A good question to ask Johnson is, if that yellow didn't come out, would he had a chance to hold off Zach Hall? I would like to know what his answer would be, because, be honest with you, even with that yellow, from the way everything just basically laid itself out here again, Sam, it didn't hurt nobody. It just put everybody back close enough for 5 laps, but we spread back out to basically where we were before the yellow.
Yeah, I think the only drivers that might have really hurt was Ryan Bird and Go Million because, it stacked them up to where they got hit by other drivers and it made them lose all that ground that they had gained throughout most of that race. So, the caution still, we weren't given information on what exactly it was. Could have been a misclick on, one of the buttons to signal, but we really don't know what the true information is. And now we hope maybe to have that information for you in 2 weeks, but it's a very awkward situation for these drivers that were never expecting a caution flag to wave. And now you got all these battles that are so close to one another. And, one simple mistake, again, touch on what you brought up right before we went green. Those different braking zones really could be affecting these drivers late in this race where the intensity level is high and they know that position is right in front of them.
And, they probably had an extra set of tires sitting in pit road, I do believe. So with that yellow coming out, you go in, get your car fixed or whatever, or, even if you had a fast repair, get it completely fixed. If you didn't, get part of it fixed. But the key thing there is fresh tires. Use up your last set because hopefully we don't see another yellow again, which I don't think it would really matter, to be honest with you, but it would just take so long, like you said, to get everybody.
Oh! Walter. No, that's a hard contact for the 57 as well. Another hard contact. That was for Tells being involved in that for the 83. Both those drivers were a lap down. Tells was 2 laps down. Hard contact for those machines, and what were already pretty terrible days continue to get worse.
Oh, yeah, he went down in that turn hot and hit the brakes, and the car did not stop. He just went flying through.
I mean, he locked up his brakes, and I think for that of Thomas Walter, he was hoping that he would shift down, would help him save on time on slowing down the machine, and it actually backfired. With him shifting down, it actually moved the back of the rear end, just spin around behind him and throw him into that pit wall. And so, for a lot of these drivers, got to be careful with shifting
brake
down,
bias.
because if you do it a little bit too soon, it could really do that as well. Yeah, brake bias is another thing that these drivers can focus on when they want to change that to help themselves out throughout the race.
Yeah, and he might have had too much, rear brake in the car, and when he downshifted, and then it took all that weight from the rear end and threw it to the front of the car. And then hitting the brakes and trying to slow down downshift, like you said, it just loosened up the rear end, and snappy around it went, and there was nothing you could do except hang on, and he drove it right into the tire barriers.
Yeah, not the way you really want this race to go for yourself.
No, I'd be like, whatever.
Well, looking at the field, I mean, with that, caution that came out, restacking everyone, looking at where drivers are running compared to where they qualified, we only have one driver that is inside of the top 10 that actually qualified outside of it. That's this 51, a Max Foner, and got to give credit to the 51 machine. He might have bullied his way and got a couple of drivers pushed out of the way on that restart, but hey, you got to do what you got to do here under road course racing, and fair game. He wasn't penalized, so the 51 continues to run in 5th place, and what a great run it's been for Foner.
Yes, it has. It's been a really, really great run for that guy. Like you said, up 10 positions in the top 5. Started out outside the top 10, and with 12 laps to go, we'll see if he can maybe catch Cedric Hunter. I don't think he's going to be able to. I think they're running about the same lap times, but again, road courses, anything can happen. We got so many ups and downs and turns and breaks that it just takes, like you said, Sam, earlier in the broadcast, just one little mistake can throw you off a track, and Max can be right on the back of Cedric Hunter within a turn.
Yeah, I mean, this is a massive race for Foner. I mean, looking at the point standings coming into today, I know it's still early. This is only round number 4, but I mean, we've got a very small regular season for these drivers before the playoffs come around. And so for Foner coming into this week, he was 17th in points and was one of those drivers that was needing some of those top level drivers to have an off day, and they really have had. I mean, for some guys that didn't even show up, that of Vincent Sora, Aaron Kralik, also the professor, Sean Hunstetler, they did not show up here today, which those were drivers that were inside of the top 10 in points. So they're now going to be losing ground. And for those that showed up and are having great days, just like the 51, they're going to gain all that time back. Also for Brandon Cawley, I mean, Cawley coming into today's race, he was all the way back in, I believe, 34th in the mid-low 30s, 35th position in points. He was needing every point he could possibly get here today. Just bad luck. He's been finishing almost last every race because he's been caught up in someone else's incident. And right now running in 6th place for the 42.
Yeah, great rebound. It's going to help him in the points. But, wow, that is interesting. Like you said, we're only round number 4 here of I forget how many rounds, so I do apologize for that. But it makes it very interesting in points, like you said there, Sam. You know, you got Cedric Hunter going to get decent points. He's up there in the point standings. And then you got Brian Johnson and Zach Hall running first and second. That's going to be huge in points. And then you got them drivers that did not show up. They're going to fall down in points. So, man, stay tuned for 2 weeks when we go through the standings and the talking points of the race that they're going to have their all-star race at Bristol that, unfortunately, we will not be broadcasting. So it's a non-points race. So after tonight's race, we will be able to talk to the current point standings when we come back at Pocono, Sam. So,
yeah, I mean, it's got I can't even speak right now. This race has been going on for a while. It's been exciting to watch how these drivers have been evolving. I went back. It's a 12-round regular season, so these drivers do have a lot to work on. And then it's a 5-race playoff series where you have your top 16. They make it into the playoffs. You got 2 races for the top 16, and then 2 races for the top 8 to figure out who are going to be those final 4 drivers battling for a championship. So, you know, the whole entire season really condensed. You need to stay consistent, and the driver that's been the most consistent, that's Cedric Hunter, who's been very consistent for himself. Top of the board points-wise coming into today. He had his win at North Wilkesboro. He's had 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, just trying to stay as consistent as possible for himself. And that's why he's our points leader right now. Another one of our drivers that didn't show up that were in the top 10 of points, Kyle Rochelle. I mean, that's another driver that's been so consistent.
Oh, wow.
Winner from last week at Auto Club. He didn't show up here today. So that's already 4 drivers that we were expecting to be here and have great points days, just not here and not getting any points at all.
Yeah, but if you get a win, doesn't that lock you automatically into the playoffs, correct?
I believe so, but there's some leagues where they pop it up. But I believe so. If he wins, he is locked in.
So he got a win last week, so it really doesn't matter if he showed up and misses this race or not. Points really don't matter no more, except for if they... I do apologize. We have to do our research and find out. You know, if when you go into the playoffs, the point standings get reset. Do they give you 5 extra points per win? 3 points per win? You know what I mean? So that would be, where that would actually, like real life NASCAR would really matter, I guess is what I'm trying to say there, Sam.
Yeah, I mean, those points of wins, I don't believe that that's where it is. I think it's based off of the amount of points that you had at the end of the regular season on who had the most points. You get to be on top going into the playoffs. So,
okay.
Even though Kyle Rochelle got the win, he's still locked in, so he's good. And those other drivers, I mean, Brian Johnson won back at Daytona, which was kind of gifted with how well Cat 5 as a team were running. And then you got Cedric Hunter, who won back at North Wilkesboro. Great recovery for the 13 there, and then also here today, a great recovery. And then last week, the drama of Auto Club, where that's a track where we were expecting it to go green for most of the race, and it turned into a caution fest where a lot of tempers got raised, and a win goes to the one of Rochelle, and the rest of the field, they're kind of now throwing up question marks on who's going to be the next. I mean, Zach Hall, he's looking like he's been poised. Yeah. He's going to be the next driver to get a win, but his teammate's still right there within a half a second.
Well, here the thing is Cat 5 as a team, and I'm sure the other teams talk about it too, with, all the teams that we do have out here on the track. So I don't want to include, what I'm trying to say here. I don't want to not talk about the other teams too, because it all teamwork. But think about this, Sam. If Zach Hall wins, you're going to have 3 out of the 4 drivers locked into the playoffs on one team. These other teams, I'm sure we're coming up to tracks that they're pretty good at. They just got to figure out how to beat this other team right now. It's just like in real life when Jimmy Johnson was just dominating. You know what I mean? You go through these phases where everything just clicks.
Yeah, I mean, the Jimmy Johnson of this series would have to be Tom Sinchak, who's in third place. I
Yep.
mean, he's one of those drivers that's been dominating. He's the back-to-back champ, and you know, he kind of deemed himself the champ after winning the championship last season. So, you know, for Tom, this has got to be an awkward state because there's a lot of these races where I think in previous seasons he would have won them, but with
Right.
the immersion of Cat 5 and the way that they have been on top of the board and so consistent, it's now made things a lot more difficult for, you know, Tom Sinchek, Kyle Rochelle, that team of RS Racing. So that team as a whole, they're favorites to watch out for. James Tremmel, he's part of that team. Also of Gomillion, they're part of that team. And they almost had all 4 members make it into the Final Four at one point, it looked like. So that team was very strong. And with Cat 5 coming in, it's now made those top dogs become kind of the prey and have to really change up their mindsets on how they're going to attack these races, and it makes things exciting. And also like some of those other teams, I mean, you got to think of Vincent Sora and that team that they have.
Yeah.
That's a group of drivers that are really good for North Star Racing. They're a team that show pace, but the consistency isn't always there. So excited to see how all these teams are going to have to move along. Like we said, this is race 4 of a 12-round regular season to a 5-round playoffs. So still a lot of time. Top 16 make it in, as this has just been a quite a long race. But excited to see how these things going to go down, as really our leaders are the closest battle on track, that of Hall and Johnson. Everyone else, they're kind of what we've stated that you need to do: race the track and not the other guys around you.
That is correct. So, you know, speaking and to wrap that up on the teams, these other teams will figure it out. They are very, very strong teams there, Sam. So, RSR, they'll figure it out. North Star, they'll figure it out. And they'll figure out what they need to do. And I just see by mid-season, we're going to see all these teams be very competitive. I just see it becoming a team racing battle. Which driver on what teams running that track good wise. And I think it's going to be, honestly, we don't call a lot of broadcasting where we focus on teams. You know, we focus on drivers, but right now here with these guys here with NAISCC, their Cup Series, we're focusing on teams. They really focus on teams at this league. So it's interesting to see the practicing and the teams. And like I said, we'll wrap it up. They'll figure it out, and we'll go from there. But like you said, the closest battle we got going on right now here is Zach Hall and Brian Johnson. And right now, Brian Johnson, I think with 6 laps to go, has picked up the pace because he's whipping and sliding and doing everything he can to try to pass that number 32 there of Zach Hall.
Yeah, their lap times have been practically equal at the last couple of go-arounds. And what's interesting with road course racing is, you know, some drivers are a lot more quicker in the first about 4 to lap corners, and then they'll lose time in about the next 2 corners after that. And then they'll gain that time back. So it's really looking like Zach Hall is at the most dominant through the carousel and through this of turn 7, A and 7B. And then we start to see that of Johnson gain all that time back, going down the hill through the S's. This has been an interesting battle to see how they've been going back and forth, but it's looking like Johnson, his tires are starting to get heating up, and this is around the time that we saw during our green flag run during that first stint, where Johnson was keeping it close within a half a second, but then Hall just found another gear and pulled away up to that 4-second gap that he had before pit stops happened.
Yeah, and you can just see right there, he was 7/10 behind, and then he went through the S's, and now he's down to 5, almost 4. Yeah, I mean, he's fast, Brian Johnson there through the S's, and Zach Hall seems to be a little faster than Brian Johnson. Coming through the start-finish line, going up over the hill, it looks like they're pretty well equal there, Sam.
Yeah, it's really through after turn 4, when they start to go into the carousel and up through the drag strip stretch. That's where we're seeing a lot of that time being gained from Zach Hall, and where he starts to pull away. But everywhere else on track, Johnson just seems to be so quick. These first like 3 or 4 corners seem to be pretty equal. It's that last half where we see really the flip-flopping of who's faster in which section.
All right, we'll look through the field, the rest of the field. We'll come back here to Tyler. He's still back here running in 10th position right now. trying to, he's actually 1 lap down. Unfortunately, no, is he? No, he's almost about ready to go 1 lap down. Yeah, you can see the leaders are going to eventually come up there. But, yeah, he's about 50 seconds behind. It looks here, 53 seconds behind. We got Bird 42 seconds. Collie is now finally, looks like, up in 6th position here. He has been. And he's actually catching Max here a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like Max was able to make the pass on that of the 42.
Okay.
And now we're going to be seeing if Collie can make that pass back. I mean, you also got to be thinking the longer the run goes on, especially with that front end damage that Collie has, it's going to hurt him more. First, he's got to be worrying about, any suspension issues, especially with losing the hood. That means that there's a lot of pressure and damage that went to the rest of the car as well. So even with fresh rubber, yes, he was running very quick for the 42, but yeah, that's just not going to carry forward as the run goes on. That's why we're starting to see Max Foner pull away. But I mean, the battling that we're seeing here currently for 11th place, that of Pittman, a little bit overcooking it. He's going to block up his brakes and now giving a chance for Go Million to get into 11th place for himself. Hard racing between these guys, and still, I mean, great racing all around the course.
Might be spread out, ladies and gentlemen, with 4 laps to go, but right now the battle I think we got going on right now is going to be it was first and second. You see Zach Hall is now pulled out to a 1-second lead. But we got with Pittman here within the 44. It looks like he's going to try to, does he close the gap right there, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing, is that you can go into these corners a little bit later and brake as hard as you can, but that's going to hurt your exit speed, and that's where Pittman's able to hold off and really keep Go Million behind him. But I'm pretty sure this 44 is not going to give up. It is going to be a hard-fought battle until we get to the checkered flag. And for Go Million, this has been a great recovery for himself. I mean, he was up in the top 5, then was shoved off and had to try to make this recovery bound. And he's been doing a great job trying to get back into a possible contention of gaining a position for himself. And he's done just that as Pittman. Really, you're seeing there, he's just going off course a little bit, getting squirrely as they're getting to the low dip end, coming up through the hill. Just seeing how squirrely this 21 has been, and we were riding on board with Pittman earlier in this run, and you're seeing it just that back end, the way that it just squirrels around. He is still not feeling comfortable, and it's just getting worse and worse the longer the run goes on, with us with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, 3 laps to go, and I don't know what's going on with the top 2 runners up there, but Brian Johnson was a second behind. Now he's 4/10 seconds, and then he falls back to 5. So we'll go up here and let's ride along with Brian here. Let's hop in his car and see exactly what he's doing here, Sam, because he's gaining and he's losing and he's gaining, and I know he's just running the double hockey sticks out of that thing right now.
Yeah, he is doing everything that he can. I think right now for Johnson, it's pressure Zach Hall. Make Hall make the mistake. Force him to feel that pressure of you being as close as possible. So the Hall's not thinking out through his windshield, but is looking through his mirror throughout most of the race, where if you do that, you can force another driver in front of you to make those mistakes, where you can pounce and move forward in your position. But this is a great. 3 laps to go, about to be 2 laps to go when they cross the line. Johnson seems through the S's to lose all that ground, but if he can somehow make the pass to get close enough here through the late stages of this in the first half of this course and make the pass cleanly, I think he can hold off the 32.
What do you think he needs if he can get anywhere close to that 32? Where do you think he's going to make that pass at, or try to pressure him to get that pass?
Yeah, it's probably going to be around turn 4. That is right when they enter into where the carousel is going to be. So it's going to be one of those spots where if Johnson can get close enough, but as you can see, the S's and also through turn 11, that 28 did not have any grip to get back onto the throttle as quick as Hall, and lost over a full second that last lap, and now is over 2 seconds back as it's 2 laps to go. There, I think Hall might have been playing a possum there for the last couple of laps, saving those tires.
Yeah, I think Brian Johnson unfortunately burned them tires off. He tried everything possible. He said it was time to go, and yeah, them tires, you can see he's sliding that back end now, Sam, and every single corner that he takes here. So He's losing. He's down to 3 seconds, and we seen this in the first half before they made pit stops. In this late run here on the tires, this is about what Zach did. Zach pulled out to a 3 to 4 second lead over him. So this is about the time, the first stint that Zach Hall did it, and he's doing it again here at the end of the race with 2 laps to go, getting ready to hit that white flag here, Sam, for tonight's race here at Sonoma.
Yeah, I mean, we'll do a quick rundown of how this race has gone. We started out with 25 drivers. We've lost over 5 of them, over 6. We've lost Ryan Ferraro, Jesse Thordick, Rigor Shaw, as well as Trevor Ehart, James Loveland, and Patrick Hernandez, all to just feeling not comfortable after a couple of wrecks and dings for themselves, decided to pit it and just not go out with this race anymore. But then we went green for most of the race. A late yellow called by the admins that we still don't know what was really called for, but it's now put us in this scenario. Zach Hall getting the 1 to go, white flag in the air as he tries to pull away with a 3-second lead and continuously is gaining over Johnson. That gap at one point was less than 0.3. It's now blown up. It's probably going to be more than 4 seconds when Hall crosses the line again.
Yeah, I think now, Zach, you just need to back it down. Make sure you hit your braking points, your turning points, and just coast it to the win here and get yourself locked into the playoffs, like we said earlier. And that puts 3 out of the 4 drivers into the playoffs. So I wonder the rest of the season is Cat 5 is going to focus on getting Brandon Colley in there and doing everything possible they can to, get that number 42 team into the playoffs too.
Yeah, I think if they knew that Colley was going to have this much of an issue, they probably would have tried to give that 42 a chance to win at Daytona. But that's where his woes started, being collected with Nathan Soren during that race that just bogged him down. It's been a terrible run all throughout this season for the 42. But for the 32 of Zach Hall, what a season it's been for himself. I mean, he continues to just impress. He's had 2 top 5s this season, 2 top 10s, and he's only had 1 big goof up, and that was last week, where he got a little bit anxious, a little bit angry at times, where he lost points, lost over 20 points. And how does he rebound? By coming out and dominating here at Sonoma. Zach Hall coming out of turn 11, now turn 12, here for the Sonoma 110. It's going to be the 32 of Zach Hall coming across the line, winning here for round number 4. An absolutely dominating run that is just, I don't think anyone else even had a chance. At one point, Johnson thought he did, but once that late yellow came out and the tire wear finally came through, it was really Hull that never really showed an ounce of a mistake or anyone having a chance.
That is correct. Congratulations to the top 5 here again. Great run as Max. What a great rebound for him, man. Up 10 positions. He's going to wind up finishing in the top 5. So great run for that 51 machine there of Max Motorsports. Congratulations to him. And congratulations to all the drivers. Very well raced. You did your thing. You finished where you needed to. And it was good action at the beginning of the race. We seen that yellow, like Sam said, we weren't sure about. But then after that, we seen more great action-packed racing until it all got spread out. But congratulations again to Zach Hall, locking himself into the playoffs here tonight, as we are waiting for him to bring it around here so he can do his celebration burnouts here at the start-finish line. And after he burns it down a little bit, we will go to a commercial break. Well, it will be right back break as we get everybody ready for the top 3 post-race interviews here at with Freaky Fast with these gentlemen there, Sam.
Yeah, what a race it has been. I think Zach is just coasting it, trying to figure out where exactly he wants to do those burnouts, because even the front stretch, it's kind of narrow. If you can get it done there, good on you.
Well, it's okay. I mean, Zach, you don't got to find victory lane. We don't have to social distance no more. We're good.
Oh, Victory Lane is such a great place, especially here at Sonoma. It's right next to the grandstand, so those that are in the grandstands can just lean over and celebrate. But he's found his spot here in turn 11, plenty of space where he can burn it down. And with Zach burning it down, we will be right back with interviews with our top 3. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the NAISCC Cup Series, round number 4 here at Sonoma. We have our top 2. It looks like Tom Sinchek was not able to get into our broadcast waiting booth, but we do have our top 3, that of second place of Brian Johnson and our winner of Zach Hall. We're going to start things off with second place runner Brian Johnson. Brian, it's Sam up in the booth. You got me?
I sure do.
What a race. Absolute dominance from our top 3. You guys pulled out to over a 30-second lead very quickly in this race. But how were the tires feeling for you? Because it just seemed like everyone was just getting slicker and slicker as the run went on.
Yeah, slick would be a gigantic understatement. Yeah, just the way these cars are and the tires that are on here, and with Sonoma, yeah, grip is very, very hard to come by. You gotta really be careful on the throttle. Got to be careful about wheel hop. I mean, the whole race, you're pretty much just worried about sliding the tires because it's easy to do, and then if you start sliding them too much, spinning them too much, then they're done for the rest of the run, and that's kind of what happened to me those last 3 laps there. I roasted my rears too much and just couldn't keep up with Zach there.
Yeah, I mean, we got to have a little bit of a shootout there. We had that late caution that kind of shocked everyone. Did that kind of ruin your whole entire strategy of trying to stay in front of Zach, or did it help you feel like you had another breath of air to try it to attempt to pass him?
Oh no, that absolutely kind of ruined my strategy there because my strategy as far as pit stop goes is you know doing the undercut and having those fresh tires before the guy in front of you is a huge advantage, and so I pitted really early, just to try to force him, put him in a box where he's either gonna stay out and lose a bunch of time, or he's gonna have to pit early as well, and then we're gonna have to be fighting the tires towards the end of the race. And luckily, I wasn't sure if I was gonna come out in front of him after he pitted, but luckily I did. And just the way the dirty air is at this track, being in front is another really huge advantage. So uh, I having to do that restart there where he really sent it into turn 1 there, which I wasn't expecting. He was able to get in front of me, and so that almost sealed the deal right there. I made sure that if he made any sort of mistake, I was going to be there for the most part of that run. But dude was perfect. I can't, my 5 years on iRacing racing with him, I can't defeat the Sonoma Sasquatch. So I was hoping to do that tonight, but it didn't happen.
You were so close. It would have been incredible if you were able to do that. This is early in the regular season, but Cat 5, 3 of the 4 have won now and are looking to be locked into the playoffs. How does that feel knowing that most of the team is locked in for a playoff chance and a chance to win a championship?
I mean, it's definitely pretty good because if we can get Brandon up in there, then we know that hey, 3 of the other drivers are our teammates, so maybe it'll be a little bit easier going into the playoffs. But yeah, I mean, it's a great feeling just being able to come in here and have the success that we've had so far. So hopefully we can keep that up.
You certainly hope so. Well, before we let you go there, Brian, we're going to be giving you the space to do shout outs and thanks to whoever you want.
Oh yeah, just gotta give a big thanks to all the guys that run this league over here. It's a great league. I really like racing over here, and big thanks to you guys putting on such a great show every week and every night that you guys do broadcast. And then to anybody that tuned in, it helps the league, helps Freaky Fast. So thank you to all of them, and then of course thanks to all the teammates that I got that help me get better each and every time I do this thing.
Well, we'll be back covering you guys when points racing starts up again at Pocono. So we'll see you in 2 weeks there, Brian.
Alrighty, later, man.
And now the man who won tonight in an absolute dominating fashion. We got Zach Hall up in the booth. Zach, how you feeling after that such dominating run for yourself?
It feels like I just rewound the clock back. Personally, I don't know what happened tonight. This is one of my best tracks. I can say that. It's I've actually never been beat here in a league race. So this is 9 for 9 now here at Sonoma and 3 for 3 at this configuration. But I don't know, man. I did not expect to come out here and be able to hold my teammate off. Even Sinchek, man, those 2 guys like holding them off, keeping them in my mirror all night long. It was probably one of the most nerve-wracking feelings I've ever had out front. It's just having to be perfect, keep the rear tires under you at all times, and never push too much. I knew he was struggling there behind me out when he was behind me because of the dirty air through certain sections, and I knew if I could just save my tires in certain corners and then use the dirty air to my effect, I should start to pull away, and it worked. But man, it was a roller coaster of emotions of a race. I like I said, this is probably it's been 2 years since I've won at a track other than a restrictor plate track now, so it's pretty emotional for me personally.
Yeah, I mean, you were dominating. You looked like you were poised to win this thing, and then your teammate pitted a little bit earlier than you. Were you nervous at all when you saw that Brian was ahead of you after the pit cycle went through?
Yeah, I was very nervous. We didn't talk pit strategy because we knew it was going to be one of those mono just battles. Me and him have so many battles at these road courses. I know he's the guy I got to beat if I'm gonna go there. So we didn't really talk pit strategy. I was personally going to be doing a pit strategy of hitting 30 and then doing 25 to the end to have the fresh tires at the end and less fuel to help the car a little bit. He pitted at 25, and I started to overthink myself and say, well, can I run him back down in time? You never know those things. You know, when I catch him, will the tires already be even? So I was hoping I could get out and get right back in front of him and then get going on the cold tires, actually still have the lead. But unfortunately, I didn't. So when I came out behind, I was really worried. So I started to go into save mode there because I knew I was better in the long run. The first run, I just knew I couldn't ride in the dirty air and try to create anything too early. I was going to let his tires kind of overwork themselves and come to me. But then we had that surprise caution there. Luckily, I kind of got my head back in the game after that because I was, you know, kind of surprised. So I was kind of frustrated at the moment. You know, and we know it was a mistake. So, things happen. So it's unfortunate that it did happen. But at the end of the day, I had to get my head back in the game. I thought it was going to affect me more than it did. But luckily, I was able to make the pass going down into one on the restart when he gave me the other lane. And man, from there it was just trying not to make a mistake and just doing my best to do that. I made one mistake, I think, during that final run. Luckily, he wasn't close enough to make a pounce on me there, so it worked out.
Yeah, and this is a great rebound, especially with you being docked points after last week's incidents, and now you're with this win. You should be locked into the playoffs. So, does that feel like that pressure is also off of not feeling like, hey, I need to be perfect for the rest of the season with those points being dunked off?
Yeah, it's definitely going to help a lot going into the next few races. I know next week we have the All Star race at Bristol, and we're going to be off for the broadcast, so that race won't count too much for anything. But yeah, it's big to come back here after the penalty, and I felt like an idiot for getting the penalty and completely deserved it. So definitely want to clean up my act for sure out there, make sure no penalties going forward, and just try to go out there and get some more wins. Maybe I don't know. I kind of this season came into the mindset of come out here, get some top fives, and work your way into it, have some fun. And that was really the big thing is me have fun, and I think I had some fun tonight, so it all worked out in the end.
We certainly could tell that you were having fun out there. Well, Zach, before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout outs.
All right. Well, first off, thank you, Sam. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Lee. Everybody at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, the best broadcast in iRacing. Make sure if you aren't subscribed, subscribe to our YouTube page and hit that like button on this video. It's much appreciated. It's always a pleasure to go back and watch these things, guys. Shout out to the league here. These guys are a great group of guys, and I can't thank them enough for just putting on what they do out here. It's really a pleasure to come out here and race, and definitely just gotta thank them for everything out there on the admins and the track. And then last but not least, I just want to thank my teammates, man. Brian is one of the toughest guys to hold off when it comes to stuff like this, and I was able to do it. So I gotta give him credit for not getting fed up with me holding him, slowing him down there, trying to save my stuff too much tonight. So I appreciate him understanding the situation. And my teammates Cedric and Brandon, they had also pretty good races out here tonight. So they showed some good pace getting that 4th and 6th place. So can't complain. It's Category 5 esports. Love the team. And then shout out to all the drivers out there too, like Tom, all the guys out there. Lap traffic was amazing, and I know nobody out there, there's a lot of chances out here where you can make mistakes and get into a leader. Everybody was completely courteous, gave me plenty of room, and you can't ask for more. So thank you to all the guys here racing, and man, can't wait to be back here in 2 weeks. Hopefully talking to you guys again on Freaky Fast Broadcasting.
Hopefully that's what's going to be happening, Zach. Well, congratulations. Have fun celebrating this one. And what a run it was here today.
Thank you, guys.
Well, Robert, it was a spectacular race for these drivers. Got to talk to our top two. And now we'll take a quick look at our final results for today's race. Zach Hall, I mean, what a run it was for this 32 machine, and also for Brian Johnson in the 28. Then we also had Thompson check in third. Our top three were just head over heels faster than everyone else. And then Cedric Hunter, he had to make his rebounds, fell all the way back to believe 12th place, moved back up to 4th. Great rebound for himself. Max Foner, he started in 15th up to 5th. Brandon Colley, he fell all the way back to 25th position, last place of all the drivers, able to make a rebound up to 6th place for himself. Then we got Jacob Morris, Bird, and also that of Cochran and Tyler Dingler going to be your top 10, with Marcus Gomillion and also Pittman, Moniz, Tremmel, Soren, as well as that of Morales, Walter, and Keith Jr., and then Tells and Foner going to be your top 20. Then the rest of the drivers were not able to finish out this race, also including that of Foner. They just did not have the day they wanted there, Robert. This was a wild one. Some unknowns to us, as that late caution was a surprise to everyone that was racing and to us in the booth. But at the end of the day, the driver that was dominating got the win.
That is correct, man. What a race. We've seen the ups and downs. We've seen the left and we've seen the rights, and we've seen these guys navigate around here at Sonoma. Really, really great racing. So hopefully everybody enjoying that content, and you know what to do over there on YouTube to help support the league and also support Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And don't forget, down after this video, you can comment what you think about tonight's stream and about the race. Don't be afraid to throw your comment down there, and we'll reply back to you and talk to you there about more about this race here at Sonoma with these gentlemen. But like Sam said, we won't be with these guys next week, as they got their dirt race at Bristol, all-star race, non-points race. So good luck to all the drivers that do that kind of racing, and hopefully they're going to have some fun. And we'll catch everybody back here next Saturday night with Sam and Lee. Hopefully Lee will make it in the booth with no internet problems, and we'll be able to call all the race from Pocono Raceway in PA, Long Pond. It's a beautiful track, tricky triangle. It's going to be fun to see what these guys do. But with that being said, our next broadcast will be tomorrow, Sunday, race day, real life, and here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, as we'll be live at 9:50 with Bonfire Racing League, and then the debut of Sim Racing Unleashed back again here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting at 7:50 to Sunday night, with the next gen cars at Daytona International Speedway. So make sure you tune into that to see that fun action of the new cars. But until then, we will catch everybody hopefully tomorrow. If not, have a great week, and we will catch you on the next broadcast. So until then, we want to say God bless everybody. We love you all. Peace out.